point two. Do a little bit of both.
You know, he wrote this book when he was 17. It's unbelievable. So he's still in high school. These guys, I'm telling you, the young people playing the walkers are the real heart and soul of the movie, just like in the book. And they did a great job of adapting the book. Stephen King's happy, so that when he's happy, I'm happy. And I had some reservations about the violence, but after a phone call with Francis Lawrence, I was so ready to do it. I mean, I do my homework. I went to IMDb and I watched all of the Hunger Games and all of his movies, and I thought he's the perfect guy to do this, and I'm glad I did.
It's thinking like, who would sign up for this, right? And I think that it comes out of a place of necessity in some ways for these boys in the dystopian world that they're living in. And Stebbins has a very unique reason for joining the Long Walk, something that I don't want to necessarily spoil for fans, but fans of the book will have been aware. And I think it's a very dynamic thing to watch Stebbins' performance and like his motivation change from the beginning of this walk then towards the end. Of course, you've seen the film. And I think going into it with this idea of I'm going to beat all of these boys, and I don't want to get close to them because I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt myself because I know I'm going to beat them all. And to see that kind of shifting throughout the film, I think is a really cool thing to see as an audience member, but as an actor to play, it was a really cool thing to be able to play. I remember standing on set with Ben Wong, who played the Karate Kid, so cool, and it's 100-degree heat, and there's 50 boys, and we're all walking through this neighborhood, and it is just grueling. We walked 12 miles that day. I remember after our first take, Ben turned to me and he goes, "What on earth did we get ourselves into?" And so it was hard at the beginning because, you're breaking your feet and you're getting these blisters going and you break these shoes in. But then towards the end of the production, I felt like I could walk forever. In some ways, I feel like we're trauma bonded because of this experience that we had. And to wake up every day, some days our call time would be 3 a.m, right? To wake up at 3 a.m and know that we've got a long walk ahead of us and to be there together, I think built a lot of team spirit amongst these boys. And I'm so grateful for the time that we shared together because I really do care for them and I really respect these boys.
Well, it was definitely something where the emotional drain and the what they did on their bodies was apparent on the film during this filming of it because they were getting skinnier, they were just getting tired, and it was something that I guess none of us were used to shooting because we've always done things according to like whatever fits the schedule as opposed to just shooting it as a straight movie.
Well, I think he's definitely looking for something. He's kind of in search of something more, and I think in life we're all kind of doing that, searching for something that's kind of outside of ourselves. And I think Pete, my character, really is looking for that. I got to be honest, it was the perk of the job for me. It was being able to immerse yourself in something and not have to. You have to, we do enough acting, we don't need to act more. So yeah, we walked about 15 miles a day. A minimum was 8 and maximum I think was 22. Doing that, you kind of forget some of the silly acting things that you do and you just give yourself away, and I was really lucky to have that. Those are my boys, these are my boys. I'm just so, honestly, there's one thing getting on with someone, there's another thing appreciating people for their work and their dedication, and every single boy in this just completely sacrificed and gave himself away to making something that felt bigger than us. So I love these boys, Cooper, Charlie, Tut, Garrett, Jordan, everyone. We all did, Ben, everyone. So big fans.
Oh man, I mean, being here, with the lads, with the team, it means so much, and this environment is hectic and crazy and exciting, and like getting to experience that, I think, my first time in America, do you know what I mean? Like it's been such a journey, but no, it's great, and we've worked so hard, and we finally get to show the world, what we've been working on, and we have this excitement build up. We can't share certain things, but now it's like, we'll let it go, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He says it in the trailer, in the first trailer. I can't stop thinking about that money. Do you know what I mean? And I think money is a motivating factor, but also, he wants to, just walk and make some friends. So what that means for him is, he comes from a background. He grew up dirt poor, literally in Baton Rouge. and he's just a country boy that's trying to, you know, figure things out, and they're all so young. You know, so even I personally, and they might not agree with me, you know, and I had this conversation with Francis, but I don't know if they willingly signed up. Obviously, the premise is they did, but when you're socially conditioned to look at this, you know, the long walk as something, you know that they do every year, and it's patriotic and everything, is that really a choice? You know, you're conditioned to do that. So I think there's a lot of reasons, but for Baker, it's, you know, to make some friends, and also the money, you know, the motivation is, you know, financial freedom. Do you know what I mean? It's Stephen King. But this story in particular spoke to me because I look at, when I first read the script, I was like to myself, okay, what am I feeling? And I felt, you know, a range of emotions, but the main emotion that I was feeling was almost gratitude. You know, to be, you know, in you know, to be able to be in a world where I can be free, you know, and also the fears of stepping into, you know, kind of a authoritarian type rule, you know, because I look at that and I felt gratitude, and I felt like I wanted to do the story justice. So being a part of that, you know, within itself, and then Stephen King, it was wonderful. It was wonderful for real.
I revere Stephen King, so I think that I'm a filmmaker, so I have an understanding of what I think works on screen as opposed to what can work in a book, and sometimes they are the same and sometimes they're not. And so I felt like I was the guy for the job because I love Stephen King, and I wanted to keep the DNA of his original story, and I wanted his themes to be ever present in the movie, but I also wanted to shape it into this, you know, under 2-hour experience, and I think we did a pretty good job, and I'm hoping the world feels the same way.